This is the quality management system and its processes. I have to say, this is one of these clauses in the standard a lot of people just can't get their brain around because they don't think of their business as a series of processes. In any case, this clause of the standard wants you to determine the processes needed for their system and then provide some kind of documented evidence that you did that. Here's some more of these things. It basically says that you have to evaluate the processes and implement changes. And it says at the end of the day, you have to improve the processes and the quality management system. That's why it gets the star. And it goes on to say, to the extent necessary, you shall maintain documented information to support the operation of the processes and retain documented information to have confidence that the processes are being carried out as planned. So the first question of the day is, what's a process? Well, a process is a series of actions or steps taken to achieve a particular end, and a process can have sub-processes. So here's that list of things that you're required to provide. And there's a requirement to retain documented information about all of these processes. Now, there are plenty of ways to do this. One is turtle diagrams. And if you want to look on other resources to find out what a turtle diagram is and why it's good, you can go ahead and do that. But there's some others. You can have a process map. You can write it out verbally somewhere, the procedure for that process of any, what the sequence of it and what the interactions of it are. You can write yourself a memo and put it in the management review notes. In a general way, this can be done once and reviewed occasionally. And it should also be in alignment with a company org chart, which is to say, if you have a vice president of manufacturing, then manufacturing should probably be one of your processes. This is a side point, but not really. The registrar and the auditor will use your process definition to do what's called process auditing. And here's an example of what's called a process matrix. What they have along the top is the list of your processes, and what they have along the side is a list of the clauses of the standard. And when they audit that process as part of your quality system, they're going to audit those requirements of the standard. So for example, in the case above, you've got a process called management. And when you get to management, you're going to audit the 4.1 through 4.4, all of those things as indicated by the X there. So that's how the auditor plans out how your audit is going to be. So it makes sense for you, if you want your audit to be in a certain way, to give some thought to how you set these processes up. For the common good, it's good to keep the process determination simple. That is, if you have 40 processes and they all have process inputs and process outputs, you're overthinking and overkilling it. The reality is that there are only 3 processes in most business. There's a management process. That output of the management process is decisions. And the number one decision about is what business you're in. Then there's a sales process, and the output of the sales process is the order. And then production takes that order and then does the product or does whatever that service is, and then you send it to the customers and you get customer feedback. And then the management analyzes that and makes more decisions. So if you want to have sub-processes in this, like design and purchasing, you can go right ahead. But it's not necessary, and this is pretty close to being in conformance with the ISO standard.